Hello, everyone. I am Matt Williamson at Williamson NFL. This episode is presented by FanDuel. Let's talk about the Steelers defense. A lot of problems. Let's start with some positive. Harmon took a step forward today in practice, Wednesday. I'm recording this Wednesday evening. That's promising. Maybe he plays this week. We'll see. I just want to make sure we know that. They also signed Bentley to the practice squad and put Loudermilk on IR. Bentley is another one of these expatriates that could be helpful as a thumper linebacker. Just wanted to keep note of that as well. Leal got a bump up to the regular roster, which means Highsmith probably isn't playing, but I don't think the Highsmith injury is looming particularly large. They did not put him on injured reserve like they did Loudermilk, so it's probably more of a short-term thing. But this defense is really struggling, as we know, and it's bad. Pass rush. Some numbers I dug up. Opposing quarterbacks, only two games. So let's not get crazy on numbers. And I'm not even going to cite the numbers. I'm just going to tell you some overriding things from the numbers. The opposing quarterbacks, and this is a lot of a Fields thing, are holding the ball quite long against the Steelers. So well over 3 seconds, which last year was total opposite. Ball was coming out super quick. Now, I think this is based a lot on who they played, especially Fields. It's only, makes up 50% of it. But the reason they're not getting home isn't because the ball's coming out fast. That is just the fact. The reason they're not getting home is not because they're not blitzing. They have the third highest blitz rate in the league. They are bringing pressure and teams are holding the ball and they're still not getting sacks. That doesn't add up very well, does it? And I would bet, I don't have this data, but I bet, like last year, a high percentage of their blitzes are 6-man pressures, not 5s. Also, that doesn't sound good, right? And it isn't good. It just isn't good. I mean, there's no way around that. But I will say, and I'm not trying to make you guys feel better or polish a turd, but if there was a stat for near sacks, like being so close to getting a sack, or ball comes out, boom, and then he's hit, or getting your hands on a quarterback and not quite putting him down, I bet the Steelers lead the league by a wide margin. So they've been ultra close, and I get it. Horseshoes and hand grenades. Nobody cares about getting ultra close. Put quarterbacks on the ground, sack them, right? And I'm with you. But I don't think the pass rushers, and I don't even have a problem with blitzing. We'll get to that in a minute here too. I like that they're blitzing. Maybe not the third highest rate in the league, but which seems a little desperate. I think the pass rushers, namely TJ Watt, did not forget how to put quarterbacks on the ground, or Cam Hayward. Like, I kind of just think there's a little bit of bad luck in terms of sack numbers because the pressures are there. That's affecting the game. They're winning 1-versus-1 matchups in the pass rush department. But I think where they're failing, many places, is I think it's too much. I think a lot of it is coverage. I think that, yeah, they're playing some man coverage, but they're not playing a lot of press man coverage. They're playing off. So you're putting your corners in a bad situation where, okay, in instances where blitz is coming, ball's coming out quick, on those instances, I'm just hitting the guy in front of the corner in off coverage. Or I'm leaving him on an island because we're blitzing so much, but I'm allowing the receivers too much time to get to full speed. I think they need to either slow down blitzing or get Ramsey, and Porter being out may have hurt this too. Let's not, that's definitely a factor. Get your hands on these guys. And I really think, even though that the numbers say that the quarterbacks have held the ball a long average time to throw. There's been so many instances that if they could just get Darnold or Fields, especially Darnold, to have tapped that ball not even half a second, I mean like an instant longer, the results would have been much, much different. And I think changing your coverages could do that, especially with less off, like I mentioned. And the other thing that I really have a problem with is they're so predominantly single high safety that I think you have to put more looks. I mean, these quarterbacks know where everyone's going to be. That you need some safety rotations. I mean, you need to, at the snap, so many teams move their safeties. They go from 2 high to 1 high or vice versa, or all those different things. And the Steelers just don't. So again, if you could just make the quarterback, help your pass rushers, I guess is my point. Make him think twice just for a split second, a millisecond. And then you're going to get more quarterback hits and sacks, etc. I hope they recognize these things. Last thing I want to talk about on this front is the Steelers were the best tackling team. Now, I rarely talk about like tackle numbers because a lot of them I don't believe and blah, blah, blah. You know, like the scorer in the building has a lot to do with who has big tackle numbers and who gets credit for tackles, blah, blah, blah. You know, okay. But these numbers are directly from NFL.com. They are not partial in any way. And even if they're a little off, so be it. At least we're in the neighborhood with this discussion. The Steelers were the best tackling team in the league last year, like fewest missed tackles. This year, they're basically the worst. They basically went from the best tackling team in the league to the worst tackling team in the league. Tons of missed tackles. I'm sure none of you are shocked by that. You watch the games, boy, they miss a lot of tackles. Yes. And I guess we can look at that two ways. You know, like, well, are they just going to be a bad tackling team? Or will they get closer to what they were to begin with? You know, I mean, I lean towards they'll get back to being a good tackling team. Like if you were super slow or just not full of very good athletes or very good players or players that have a history of missing tackles, maybe that would keep up. Bad tackling team. Oh, well. Brought in a lot of new guys. None of them can tackle. All right. Well, then you live with it. I mean, that's bad. Now, I certainly want to call out Minka. Minka's an awesome tackler. He's gone. He isn't walking through that door, folks. You know, that isn't going to get better. But I think as a whole, it's probably more of just an early season thing or a one-off. And I'm being optimistic on that. Who knows? But I have a hard time believing you could be the best tackling team through the course of a whole season. And then after 2 games, we're ready to say you're the worst tackling team in the league. You know what I mean? Like, probably somewhere in between for this year at least. So that's huge to me. So we know there's a lot of issues with the defense. The run defense is poor. They're getting moved off the ball. All these things we talked about. But I dug up that stuff last night, and I just wanted to get your guys' take. I mean, we could easily just say defensive staff's stupid. They don't know how to make any adjustments. But we could easily say all these guys they brought in have no chance of how to tackle. Watt's done. He will never get another sack again. You know, I mean, or you could look at it a little more, take a step back and be like, are these things likely to correct? I guess is a way of looking at it. And I'm not sold that the answer is yes, but I lean towards yes. Football season is finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials so you can join them on all the action. All right. This last segment is going to be short. I'll do my best not to get emotional about it. I'm sure many of you heard my good friend and partner, Dale Lolley, passed away this morning. I'm recording this Wednesday. To pull back the curtain, I just got home from the radio station after doing The Drive, a show that Dale and I did for about 10 years together every day. And if you want to see emotional Matt, go watch the first segment on YouTube. I'm not a crier. I'm not an especially emotional person, but that segment, I was a mess. And I just didn't want to spit out tackling stats and talk about off coverage and not recognize that Dale was also a former DK employee. And I know a lot of people in this website and organization are really broken up about it too, but he was, the last couple months were really rough on him. He was fighting a very, very aggressive cancer and inevitably lost this morning, Wednesday, the 17th. And I knew it was coming. I've had the last couple of months have been hard on me as well. And more than anything, condolences to his great wife, Amy, and his 3 kids. But it's breaking me up. And I feel like I'd have been crazy to record this podcast today with it, at least not acknowledging it. And we were really, really good on the air together. It was immediate chemistry. I didn't really know Dale when the drive started. The people at the Steelers just kind of put us together and see if it how it would work out. And immediately we did. 2 different perspectives. His, reporter side was wonderful. I came from a different area and we made it work really well. And I really, really enjoyed my time on the air with him. And I think we've done thousands of hours of radio together. But he also became one of my absolute best friends. And, our families got together and he's been to my home many times. We've done dinners and it's not just work relationship at all. And I kind of looked at him as like a big brother, especially in the business world of him knowing, he's covered the Steelers longer than I bet many of you have been alive. He's over 30 years and his experience and teaching me the ropes of, media stuff and all that was really, really valuable to my career. But I'm not here to talk about my career or any of those things. It's a good friend was lost today. And he was in a very uncomfortable state for the last couple of months. So I knew this was coming inevitably. And it doesn't, while he's extremely missed, it doesn't break my heart that he's not suffering anymore, I guess is the best way to look at it. So I had to acknowledge it to you guys, and that's that. So tomorrow we will break down the Patriots and go from there. Thanks, everyone. Take care.